Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what we have in store for you today. In today's story, the man says, I finally found out my wife and best friend have been having an affair for 7 months. It's over. Now this is a complete story, so stay with us until the end. This is how the story goes. We met when we were very young, when I was playing in an out-of-state baseball tournament and instantly hit it off. She helped me through my parents' divorce and I helped her through her sister's demise. We talked often about how much we loved each other and have been together ever since. My friends would often say how I would lock myself in my room to talk to her instead of hanging out with them. We visited each other often until I moved to her state when I was 17. We were married in November of 2012, 4 years after I moved. Things were beyond amazing for the entirety of our relationship except for 3 months when I faced a deep depression. We were very intimate, cuddly, loving and inseparable. Most of our time was spent together. In March of this year, I started to notice a lack of affection coming from her end, and I was quite jealous of my best friend, whom my wife spends a lot of time with. I don't drink alcohol due to having an alcoholic abusive father. They drink together nearly every night and she usually doesn't come to bed until 3 a.m. at the earliest. I usually do not go with them because I wake up rather early to work out and go to grad school. We talked about our relationship after I told her I was upset, and she told me that our relationship had zero passion and that she wasn't happy with me. I asked her to work on it with me and help me make it better and that it would be easy. She agreed. Since then, we have not had any intimate moments, have not cuddled, not held hands, had 2 dates despite me asking at least twice a week, and have made out once. We have not gone to bed within 2 hours of each other, and she has slept on the couch or in my friend's bed a few times. My birthday was last Monday and all I got was a happy birthday. No kiss, no nothing. About 1 month ago, she told me she doesn't think we have ever had the spark or passion she's talking about. She thought that loving me was enough to get us through anything. Despite all of that, I still love her with all that I am. I cannot imagine being without her. She has been my best friend for nearly 10 years. She has been the anchor in my life for just as long. I keep racking my brain to try and understand what she means, but that spark and passion has been there for me. I don't really know what to do anymore. I love this woman. She's the most beautiful person I know. She's the driving force of why I'm in grad school, to provide for her and our hopefully future children. She makes me better. I want nothing more than to be with her, and it seems like it's sliding out from under me. I don't really have much of anyone else to talk to because my best friend is a part of my problem. You guys seem to be pretty accepting and helpful. How do I get the spark or passion back if she hasn't felt it in our entire relationship? Now that's the end of part 1. We have an update to this story coming up, but before that, let's listen to a few responses from the community. The first response is by Jelly B. She's mostly checked out of your relationship. You need to sit down and ask her if she still wants to be with you. If she is, she needs to start working on your relationship with you, and it needs some serious work. If she isn't truly willing to work on it, you should leave. Maybe it will be temporary when she realizes what she lost. Maybe it won't. But I'm guessing that because she got married young and never got to flirt and sleep around, now she wants to do that. She may actually be doing it or just fantasizing, but I'm fairly sure that's what is going on. And here's the OP's reply to that response. I mostly agree with what you're saying despite not wanting to believe it. It's just really difficult for me to accept the fact that she says that whatever the spark or passion that was missing isn't there and she has no drive to work on it or make it better. The next response is by Willie Q. Based on the story, you sound like you are in a tremendous state of denial. Don't be planning date nights when your wife is clearly involved with another man. And here's the reply by the OP. For the record, other things were said during that conversation. She didn't bring it up out of the blue. I asked her if our relationship was doing okay, and that was one of my reasons for why I thought she wasn't happy. I probably am in denial. I've suspected and brought up to her several times that I think something is going on between them. She said no every time. I don't particularly believe her, but I know her to be an honest person. I figure I'll let it play out and see what I can find out. I can't burn her at the stake on a hunch, no matter how good of one it is. Now it's time for the update. I found out in August while on vacation with the two of them and a few other friends at a friend's beach house in Florida. My wife was drunk at 11 a.m. and left her phone in the house while she went to lunch with him. And I knew I had to take my chance. After reading some crude texts and several I love yous, I knew it was over. In the hope of not making a scene, I called the girl whose house we were staying at and told her what was going on. I packed my stuff and headed to my car to drive back to Texas. That's when my wife and friend came up the elevator. They saw all of my stuff and asked what was going on. I simply said I'm going home, and after further questioning and some quips and laughs from them, blurted out, "I know you guys are sleeping together." His response, "What the hell are you talking about?" "No, we're not." Her response was instant tears. She walked with me to my car and told me that it started in April, but she knew she wanted to leave me long before that I was a wonderful person and that I'll be happier with someone else, that something between us was missing, and that she didn't need me like she used to. All I could respond with was that she made me the happiest I'd ever been, that she was all I ever needed, and that I never needed her, I wanted her. As I go back up the elevator, her new boyfriend comes down nearly in tears and asks if I want to talk to him, and all I said was never again. On my way back down the elevator, they were at the bottom. The homeowner told them they weren't welcome, so in tears he asked me if I would give him a ride back for $300. I laughed. I told him, "Every time you sleep with her, I hope you know I wish you would have pulled the trigger." He had depression issues and was ready to take his own, but decided not to because I had offered him a room in my house to get him on his feet, and because he was my best friend. I then drove 13 hours straight home and called everyone I could think of, including both of their parents and mine. When I got home, I was packing my things and saw my wife's journal. At this point, I don't care anymore, so I read it. She has a story written and dated March 14th about their very detailed physical affair. How they would wait for me to go to sleep and do it on our couch, in my car, in my bed, when I wasn't home, in his bed, in our shower, in our garage. Another poem was dated February, detailing how a shadow haunted her, but he was her future and her true love, that all she could taste was his lips. This was all before I had ever known she was unhappy. We were still intimate regularly up until March, even in very early April, so she was lying about all that too. All of her friends have abandoned her. I now live with her former best friend, the owner of the beach house, and two of her other friends. They've all said their pieces to her and been blocked in the process. I filed for divorce finally on Friday, and my God, does it feel good. I'm so relieved to be out of it. I was racking my brain for so long trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. Turns out I wasn't. Now I'm recovering slowly, I'm sure, but I now have a sudden strong interest in women. Is it just a rebound? I'm not sure. I'm not pushing the issue or anything, and I haven't dated in 9 years, but I'd like to. I know it's still probably too soon, but do I long for it because I've had it and it's now missing? That being said, I'm happy to be single. I enjoy just being me currently, but wouldn't mind someone. I actually kind of feel like our relationship has been over for longer than a month. I mean, I was living a lie for the last 7 months. She promised we would work on our marriage while all she was doing was working on him. But I would appreciate any advice about the future and dating after divorce. I'm kind of worried actually. I feel like no one will want me for that reason alone. Now let's listen to a couple of responses from the community. The first response is by alcohol. Took me about 5 years for my last serious relationship to find someone I'm deeply in love with. But after 5 years of countless experiences and a few short-lasting relationships, I found someone who is even more perfect than the last. It just takes time. I wasn't even looking for a relationship at the time. I got fired from my job for having a bad attitude and I was living off my savings. I found a job at McDonald's and she was the restaurant manager. Having no job, I wasn't even looking for a relationship, but I would never have met her if I didn't get fired. The next response is by Aqua Zesty Man. I can't even imagine how hard this must have been to live through, being stabbed in the back by two of your most favorite people in the world. The best revenge is living well. The two of them won't last because people willing to destroy lives and throw away friendships generally fail at life in other ways. Neither do such people often know why fidelity, loyalty, and honor are so important. They have to learn the hard way, or maybe they just don't care. In 10 years, when you found a much more awesome woman and your ex has just tied the bow on a nasty and bitter divorce from this once upon a time true love of a former best friend of yours, you might hear the news from a little birdie or read about it secondhand on FB, and you'll think to yourself, oh yes, life is good. Now here's the OP's reply. It's funny that you bring that up. The only two things they have in common are me and alcohol. They are literally so different. This is his first ever girlfriend. He was hanging out with my wife's best friend for a few weeks before she said he never talked to her about anything. He couldn't answer questions about where he wanted to be in 5 years, let alone 1 month. I'm assured it won't last except for the fact that they are together now. They really were the two most important people in my life. I always offered my wife space and trust when she needed it, and it came back to haunt me. I don't blame myself, but I'll still wonder what I could have done differently. They're alcoholics and the worst kind of people. I watched the one person I loved turn into everything I hate. It's surreal, really. Well, that's it, and thanks for listening to today's story. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did recording it for you. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on our future videos. Do take care.